परमात्मने सुभद्राभ्यां जगन्नाथाय नमः। अखण्डमण्डलाकारं व्याप्तं येन चराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। परम पूज्य ज्योति जी महाराज, परम पूज्य स्वामी शिवचिदानंद सरस्वती महाराज, परम पूज्य दामोदर स्वामी जी महाराज, मंचासीन सन्यासीज, वैष्णवस, sadhus and assembled devotees. It is the Lord's grace and the blessings of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that this sevak is once again before you in this most sacred tirtha of Kovur. Jubilee celebrations, the 75th year of the foundation, of the installation of this wonderful Sri Ramananda Gaudiya Matha, the foundation which was laid by Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur Saraswati Maharaj, and we are here to sing the glory of the Lord, to sing the glory of the great Acharyas, and particularly to sing the glory of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Sri Rai Ramananda, because this place was sanctified by their holy presence and their holy discourse.
ఈ ప్రాంతం పరమ పవిత్రమైనది.
Left by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Sri Pratap Rudradev, who was the governor of Godavari district. This was the southern province of the kingdom of the Gajapati Maharaja of Orissa, and hence this wonderful connection, historical connection, brings this sevak before you again. Disciples of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Gajapati Pratap Rudradev was also blessed by the grace and the blessings of Mahaprabhu. His deep devotion and surrender at the feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not something which is very, very surprising, because that is in the tradition of the kings of India. And not only to uphold dharma, but also to live dharma. And the great saints, the gurus and the acharyas were living embodiment of dharma, and their presence, their grace was necessary for the king in his duty to uphold dharma. There is peace, prosperity, progress, happiness in every house and in the whole kingdom. Find that almost in every region there is some big temple, very sacred place of pilgrimage, which has been established by the king in ancient times or in medieval times, And that became the center of the social and cultural life of that region, and the king gave the foremost priority to serving the Lord there and spreading, promoting, propagating the spiritual tradition and the spiritual knowledge. Presence of the Lord in Purushottama Kshetra, King Indradumna sent his emissaries, his messengers, in search of the place in Purushottama Kshetra, and his Rajguru's younger brother, whose name was Vidyapati, came to Puri and had darshan of the Lord in Purushottama Kshetra. Whom Vidyapati saw was not the Lord that we see now, Jagannatha Balabhadra Subhadra, because the Lord had not manifested in that form as yet. Vidyapati had darshan of Neelamadhava, Vishnu, Bhagavan with the Shesha Ananta behind, and Sri Mahalakshmi next to him, and Garuda and Sudarshana in front. And he was blessed, and he came back to inform the king that yes, I have had direct darshan, sakshat darshan of the Lord, so please come there and serve the Lord there. Puri, along with all his people, there was a massive sandstorm, and the place where Lord Neelamadhava was there, that place was completely covered with sand, and the lords were not seen anymore.
And ఇంద్రదేవ మహారాజు వచ్చేటప్పటికి ఆ ప్రాంతం అంతా కూడా నీలమాధవుడి దర్శనం లేకుండా పూర్తిగా ఇసుకతో కప్పబడిపోయింది. ఎక్కడ భగవంతుడికి దర్శనం వారు అప్పుడు చేయలేకపోయారు.
The king was very the image of the Lord for worship in the temple, but all the craftsmen of the state of his kingdom failed to make even a little dent on that divine wood.
ఆ దారూపంలో ఉండేటువంటి
Voice which mentioned that don't despair, there will be one old person will come and you allow him to do the work. According to the divine voice, one day one old person comes to the king and seeks permission to carve the image of the Lord. The king says, yes, please go ahead and do it, but all my craftsmen have failed, but please go ahead and do it. The old man had a condition. The old man said, yes, I will be very happy to do it, provided I am not disturbed in my work, and the door of the chamber must remain closed until I have finished my work. King said, no problem, please go ahead.
రాజుగారు చాలా చింతాక్రాంతులయ్యారు. మళ్ళీ దైవవాణి వినిపించింది ఆయనకి, ఓ రాజా, నీవు ఏమీ దుఃఖించిన అవసరం లేదు, ఇక్కడికి ఒకనొక వృద్ధ వడ్రంగి వస్తారు, ఆయన చేత ఈ కార్యం నెరవేరుతుందని చెప్తే, అలాగనే దైవాన్ని చెప్పిన ప్రకారంగా కొంతకాలానికి ఒక వృద్ధ వడ్రంగి అక్కడికి వచ్చారు. అప్పుడు రావణ చెప్పారు, అయ్యా, ఈ జగన్నాథుడి యొక్క రూపాన్ని తయారు చేయడంలో వాళ్ళందరూ కూడా చేయలేకపోయారు, కావున నీవు ఈ పని చేయమన్నప్పుడు ఆ వడ్రంగి నువ్వు ఉన్నటువంటి వ్యక్తి చెప్పారు, నేను ఈ పని చేయగలను, కానీ ఒక షరతు, నా పనిని ఎవరు కూడా అంతరాయం కలిగించకూడదు, పూర్తి చేసేటంత వరకు అని చెప్పారు. అప్పుడు రాజు తప్పకుండా అలా చేయండి, దానికి మాకు అభ్యంతరం లేదన్నారు.
For some days they hear some sound of work coming. The queen, whose name was Gundicha, she gets worried and tells that we must now open the door. Something may have happened. There was no food, no water for the old person. So the king opens the door and they find that the lords are as we see them today, Balabhadra, Subhadra, Jagannath and Sudarshan in this form, but there is no old man.
ఆశ్చర్యకరమైన సంఘటన జరిగింది.
According to the advice of Devrishi Narada, Maharaja Indradumna invites Lord Brahma from Brahmaloka. So Lord Brahma comes down to Purushottama Kshetra and himself consecrates the deities Lord Jagannath, Balabhadra and Subhadra and Sudarshan, and the king in the meantime has built a beautiful temple for the Lord, and on the chariots the lords are placed, and the first Rath Yatra takes place from Gundicha temple, which is the place of birth of the Lord, because that is the place of the original consecration, the Adi Pratishtha, Prana Pratishtha of the Lords. And the first Rath Yatra takes place from the Gundicha temple to the present location, the temple built by King Indradumna, which is not this temple, but it is a temple on the same place in ancient times. At the time of consecration, after the Prana Pratishtha has been done by Lord Brahma, Lord Jagannath directly blesses King Indradumna. He assumes a form, a living form, and speaks to Indradumna and gives direction to the king that my daily worship has to be done in this manner, my festivals have to be celebrated in this manner, and gives the duty to the king to serve the Lord accordingly.
ప్రతిష్టా సమయంలో
Arrangements for the worship of the Lord, but then he had no more desire to remain on this earthly plane, and he departs for a Brahmaloka, giving the responsibility and the duty to the king of Utkal, then known as Odra, to carry on the seva of the Lord as his first and foremost duty.
ఆ తర్వాత
And the tradition of Lord Jagannath, that whoever is the paramount political sovereign of the Utkal in Jagannath Dham Puri, we also see in many other places in India where the king was the first servant of the presiding deity of that kingdom. So many places all over India we have a similar tradition.
ఆనాటి నుంచి
And prosperity of the people, and to see to the establishment of peace and progress in the kingdom, but his primary duty was to serve the Lord and to uphold dharma, because only when dharma is upheld, all other things, all other material gains and prosperity, all that is possible.
ఆనాటి నుంచి రాజ్య రక్షణ భావ
In line with the fundamental goal of the Indian society, which is God realization, the spiritual goal of life was the primary objective and is the eternal primary objective of every individual, and that is possible and that is helped when dharma is nurtured.
ధర్మమును మనం పాటించాలి.
Mahapurushas and saints have proclaimed repeatedly that it is the spiritual pursuit, it is the spiritual goal of life, which is the summum bonum of our existence. And if we are to attain fulfillment in this life, if we are to attain happiness and peace in this life, which is our real goal, then it has to be through the spiritual pursuit alone. Material wealth, material endeavor is a means, but it cannot be the goal. We have drifted far away from these fundamental principles of our culture. We have been swayed by materialistic thinking. We are oriented towards seeking worldly comforts, worldly gains, worldly pleasures, hoping that this will give us our satisfaction, our happiness and peace. But those who are wise, those who are intelligent and those who are acquainted with our ancient culture very well know that this is the biggest blunder. The first and foremost duty of the ruler, he built temples, monasteries he supported, Brahmin villages he endowed, and our Vedic learning was propagated. And that was the first and foremost duty of the ruler. Today, we find that our rulers have got different priorities. And we are being swayed by the materialistic culture. Therefore, the religious and spiritual organizations like our Gaudiya Matha, the wonderful work that they are doing is the ray of hope for the future and for the glory of our culture. Our great ancient spiritual heritage burning, and if we are to seek fulfillment in our life, we have to take full opportunity of the presence of these institutions and follow on the footsteps of the great acharyas and imbibe the teachings of the scriptures in our daily life.
కావున
Effort of following in the footsteps of the great acharyas, of fully living the great spiritual principles and precepts of the great masters, we can purify ourselves, we can purify our inner personalities, antakarana shuddhi, which is the only way of attaining peace and grace of the Lord.
ఈ ప్రయత్నంలో మనం ఎంత నిష్కపటంగా
And has been instrumental in the welfare and upliftment of the people of this locality. My humble prayers before Sri Sri Jagannath Mahaprabhu and Sri Sri Chaitanya Dev, that may the mod continue like this from year to year with all your support, and may you all benefit from association with the great saints, and may you all live the teachings, may you all follow the teachings of the saints and scriptures and the Lord, and bring happiness, bring contentment and fulfillment into your lives. Niramaya sarve bhadrani pashyantu ma kaschid dukkha bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurave Namaha. Hari Om.
Maharaj Ji has given in us a wonderful lesson, so to say, that generally I say a country gets its prosperity when its tradition, culture and heritage are maintained by the heads of the kingdom. In our Indian heritage, as already somebody said, that we are Bharatvarsha is not a ordinary land. It is a dharma khetra, and our kings, as generally known, Sarvo Devoyo Raja. Raja had to look after the welfare of the country, but how he must be guided by a religious person. So every kingdom in our country we find had a guru and a temple. I had the occasion to meet and be associated with many native kings, and all we find they had their main purpose of life, wanting to go first to the temple and pray the Lord, take the blessings, and then sit on the throne and do Raja Karya. The Trivandrum king, when he went along with our Guru Maharaj, he actually stood at the very gate with bare body, just having one cloth on his shoulder, and received Guru Maharaj and told that they are Padunava Dasa. They have to go first to the temple of Padunava Swami and take the blessings there. Same way, I had closed session with Mysore Maharaj. He also said the same thing, that he has to go to Chamundashi temple and take the blessing. But before that, of his Guru, that Guru actually was belonging to Ramanuja Sampradaya, Vijaya Swami, the Guru, Rajguru of Nepal. He came and stayed with me for some time at our Madras Mott, because I had the occasion to meet him first at World Hindu Religious Conference held at Ceylon, and I was representing the Indian delegates. There, after he came to our Madras Mott, he said the same thing, Maharaj, Raja will be coming first to me, take the blessings from me, and then go to the state deity, and after taking place there, then only he will look after the Raj Karya. After we know Gandhiji is known as the father of the country at present, because he was responsible, mainly he was responsible for bringing the independence of the country. He was very particular for performing his evening prayer. Nothing could stop him. Thereafter, our president was Dr. Rajendra Prasad. He came from Madras Mott. Just told Guru Maharaj to give blessing. He also told the same thing. Maharaj, when I was first elected as President of India, I went to Benares and washed the feet of the sadhus and drank that water. Nehruji criticized, in all papers came, that today India's head is bowed down to the ground. He boldly said, no, I have made India glorious today, because India is not the foreign country. India is a land of religion. I am the actually first servant of the country. Therefore, I must have my head coronated with the blessings of the sadhus. So, why today we are having so many problems in our life? India has enough resources, because our politicians, they exploit us. They think the religion is not needed, but without brain, can the body function? So without religion, how can the country be prosperous? But so much this sectarian religion we do not say. Our Indian religion find based upon the philosophy. There are two things, on the ontology and on the morphology. So ontological aspect, if you give up, then on merely if you take the theological aspect, then each will come and will follow each other. The Indian tradition, we find there was no such thing previously of to follow. But today actually I am also blaming the religion is true, because they have become too sectarian. We could embrace all. We cannot hate anybody. We are absorbing Indian history, we study, we will find how our people they welcomed others and they absorbed them. But politicians they divide and they rule. But only religion can make the unity in all diversity. And now I will speak thereafter, but another one good thing I have heard from this Swamiji just gave a note to me, that during the time of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, once we find in the record of Chaitanya Charitamrita that when he was resting at the garden at the midway when Rath was proceeding, but afterwards when thousands of people were trying to drag the Rath, it was not moving. But when Chaitanya came and just touched the Rath, immediately moved. The same way, about 17 years before, the Jagannath during the
17-year-old. Gajapati was 17 years old.
So that is the. When the Gajapati was 17 years old, what happened? The same thing almost happened. The Rath was not moving. So Gajapati, Lord was not, the pujaris were not able to lift the Lord, because when did they say? The Lord should be brought from the sanctum sanctorium, and very difficult to bring the Lord. That Chaitanya also will bring it. But when the deity had to be lifted to the Ratha, it was not at all possible for the priests. So many priests they are trying. But when Rajaji he touched immediately, easily those Brahmins are able to lift the Lord and make him sit on the rod. So this is one miracle. And this same way also few years before, when that one big stone fell down, that at the sanctum sanctorium, the Raja, he fasted and performed pujas and arranged special pujas, and so that no more bad incident takes place. So really, if we become the servant of God, many miracles happens in the life, and people can also understand that without the blessings of God, without having a way of life, our way of life is that believe in God, live with God, serve God, and next to our material purposes of life.